So students, a warm welcome for this session. And today we are going to speak about a very important topic under our regular training program, which runs by the name of Capability Enhancement Program by Training Replacement Center of this institute. And today we are going to discuss about sales and negotiation skill. And this is a workshop. And you all know the advantage of today's workshop in a sense that you all have this much of understanding that how much it is important to have good negotiation skills and sales skills to get good job, and of course to rise in your career path as well. And of course, if you are looking for your entrepreneurship or for your own venture, even then this skill becomes very important. And we have today among us Mr. Rahul, and he is the trainer and of course founder of Rahul Stoic Academy. He believes that he is there to create sales star, and he is a seasoned sales professional, sales trainer and coach. He comes with deep experience in sales, sales training and mentorship. And after his MBA from Asper School of Business, Winnipeg, Canada, he has worked more than 5 years in sales with various telecommunication giants of Canada, combining the need of hour for freshers to get sales and negotiation training and for corporates to get skilled negotiators for their business. And his passion for sales, negotiation, and understanding human has propelled him to create Rahul Stoic Academy. So presently, he is working from two offices, one from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and one from Jamshedpur, India. So a warm welcome, Rahul, in this session, in the workshop. And I hope today's session is going to will be an eye opener for most of us. With this, I welcome you and hand over the session to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nirita, for such a warm welcome. I really, really thank you for the warm, good words that you have, sent my way. So first of all, everyone, very good morning. This is for all the audiences who are either in MBA, BBA, or in corporate. So you guys are in MBA, MCOM, MassCom. It works beautifully for everyone who wants to actually be, be in the professional sales and negotiation, or those who want to negotiate anything in their life. So my first question, I'll start with a question. You have a worksheet, guys. Please make sure you download the worksheet and you open it. Please don't try to edit right there because it will start impacting on my side. Make sure you download the worksheet using the link which doctor sent you, and tell me, what do you understand by sales and negotiation?
Sir, convincing someone on your terms and conditions.
Can you please introduce yourself, please, before you go into the explanation? So yeah, whom I was speaking?
Sir, Nitin Gupta.
Nitin, perfect. So Nitin, what's your explanation? What's your understanding of sales and negotiation?
Sir, making someone, convincing the person on your terms and conditions.
On your terms and conditions. Okay, perfect. That's the first input we got. Anyone else like to volunteer and give your understanding? Or I can't see their name. I could have picked them right on the spot then. I can see someone with 80. Who is that 80? Guys, can you please tell your perception? Okay, perfect. Thank you for participation. I really appreciate it because it keeps me going. It's not just, it's a two-way process, right? It's like I'm trying to give you something at the same time. I want your support because single-handedly I cannot run the show. So, okay, perfect. That's the first thing which comes out from Nitin, that hey, it's convincing someone from your own on your own terms and conditions. How many of you would agree to it? Just type yes on the chat. Just type yes. You don't have to come on the camera. Just type yes if you would agree to it.
The negotiation depends on both the parties. Who is giving the offer and who is accepting the offer. If the other party is not convinced by the offer, so he will negotiate. He will give the counter offer to him. So he will try to convince the other party to accept his offer.
Okay, so I guess you're actually having a good look at Shark Tank, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's a good show though. So that's right. Negotiation needs two party, even sales needs two party. would you guys agree to it? If you guys agree to it, type yes on the chat. Okay, I got Anshul Sharma saying yes. By the way, you can just say yes. I'm not sure, so just say yes. Okay, yes. Yasir somewhat agree. So Yasir, what would be your understanding then? You somewhat agree to it. How can you define your perception of sales and negotiation? It will really help to get the show moving.
Sir, in general terms, you can relate it to the bargaining.
Okay.
For the market type understanding, you can relate it to the bargaining. What we generally do in market, we bargain from the sellers that if you are ready to sell this product in this price, we are able to take it.
Okay. Okay. So it's about having your own set thought, having your own set rates and trying to bring them on that rate, right? Like bargaining to that rate which you are thinking of. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Anshul, thanks for the participation. Can I hear something from you? What do you think? I'm just trying to make you guys a little bit more uncomfortable. That's what I'm trying to do. Understand? I'm trying to make you uncomfortable. So be uncomfortable, come up and speak about your perception. So Anshul Sharma, what do you think about? Can you just elaborate on your point of view, guys? If you
Hello.
speak up, yeah. Hi, go ahead.
Hi, Rahul sir. Hi, sir. This is Yasir. I was trying to
Hi.
speak earlier, but my mic wasn't working. So I'm really sorry that I
Okay,
couldn't reply you that time.
no problem. Go
Uh,
ahead, Yasir.
so you asked me. So wrote in the chat that I somewhat agree with Nitin. Is because uh, first of all, I didn't really understand what he was trying to say. Now, I would like to tell you about what I think, what is my perception for sales and negotiation.
Okay, yeah,
For
go ahead.
me, sales and negotiations is like a very simple term which is done by everyone in their day-to-day lives. For example, if someone goes out to buy something or maybe uh, go around for just for example, if we take like we are all on the verge of giving our interviews and everything, right? So if some company approaches us and gives us a deal and we are about to crack the deal, which is basically maybe they may be offering us about our salaries or something else, right? Sales and negotiation basically means when we are trying to convince someone about some product.
So convince them for some product, right?
Yes, sir. Like convincing someone for some product or maybe something else.
Perfect, perfect. So guys, I'm kind of getting an understanding from whatever we input we've got, and thanks for the input, Yasser, Anshul, Manish, Akash, and Nitin, that you're giving me a very good understanding what sales and negotiation is. So let's see, go into the further explanation of what sales and negotiation is. I'll tell you a small story in order to make you, like, Yasser just told, it's a day-to-day activity which we do. So this is me and my brother. It's an animated form. So I'll tell you a story which happened when we were kids in Diwali, and this story will tell you what sales and negotiation. You're right, but I'll tell you another version of it, just my version, so that you can get a different understanding. Can you see that screen where there are two kids?
Yes.
Can you see there our Diwali negotiation? Can you see that screen, guys? Type type yes in the chat if you can see my screen. You can see the screen of the Diwali negotiation. Can you see it? Please let me know.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. So what you can see two kids, right? One over another. Are you on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, because this technology sometimes confuses me. I don't know if you're seeing my screen or not. That's why I'm asking you again. Okay, so what used to happen is that when we were kids, I was like 13, 14-year old, and my brother was 7, 8-year old maybe. So in Diwali, my father used to bring crackers, and he used to divide crackers between both of us. And then what I used to do, because I used to go and burst all the crackers, and then but my brother, he used to keep all the crackers with himself. He used to not burst it. He used to hold in his hand, but he will not never burst it. But I, in the first day itself, I just burst everything, and the crackers were over. Like in childhood, I don't have courage to, I don't have courage to ask my father that, hey, buy me some more. So what I used to do is that I used to go and and plead in front of my brother, please give me crackers. I used to request, and then after I requested so many times, after giving a lot of attention and lot of pampering, he used to give me one cracker. Okay. Then after bursting that one cracker, I should go and do the same thing again and again, and he used to keep me running after him till the time the, the cracker is not completely over. I used to go, plead, get some cracker, come back, burst it, go, plead, request, pamper him, love him, get some cracker, come back. This used to keep on happening till the time the cracker was not over. So now open the worksheet. I've given you a worksheet, right? Can you guys open the worksheet, which I just, which the link which is sent by Dr. Nivedita? I open the worksheet. I'm opening it here on my side too. So can anyone tell me what was the value which I was seeing in my brother, and what was the value which my brother was seeing in me? Okay, so in the story which I told you, everyone, please fill in what do you think according to Rohit. Rohit is my younger brother. He valued the guy who had crackers. Valued in 30 seconds. Make a list of all the things which you think the guy who had crackers valued. I used to run after him to get some crackers, right? So he valued something which he was getting from me. There was some value which he was seeing in me. So can you make a list of 2 or 3 things which you think he valued? And anyone can come on camera or come off mute and tell me what do you think Rohit valued? I was trying to ask you that Rohit was making me run after him, right, for crackers. Like I used to go and plead him, request him, give him attention, and then he used to give me some crackers. So what, according to you, was Rohit looking for? What was, according to you, was Rohit valuing in the whole process?
Maybe he wanted your attention because you wanted firecrackers from him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Yasir, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. So Yasir, you're right. He wanted attention, and I wanted, cracker,
Firecrackers.
right?
Exactly.
So,
It's a give and take process, right?
so yeah, exactly. So that's what sales is. If you look into sales, sales is a process. It's a game of understanding, guys. If you want to make a note, you can make a note. Like sales is a process of understanding, where you understand what other party is valuing. If you are trying to negotiate with someone, if you want to sell something to someone, you need to first understand what are they valuing, what are they looking for, right? In this case, my brother was looking for attention, pamper, love, and I was looking for crackers. So I knew, as in, I can understand. I didn't knew that time, but I was just going with the flow that if I go and request him, if I go and plead him, if I go and give him attention, he will give me crackers. Like every child is like that. They need attention, right? So it's always like that. Even in your day-to-day life, it's not always about exchange of money. It's always about exchange of value. Please understand, sales or negotiation is always around exchange of value. It may be money, it may not be money, but there has to be value which other person sees in you, for which you are able to exchange something. So in this case, my brother valued attention, love, and care. There's no money involved, and I valued crackers. There was no money involved. So we exchanged, and the negotiation process was requesting. I hope this was clear. Does it make sense, guys? Type. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Sir,
yeah, go ahead, Nitin.
sir, in this case, there is no negotiation because he wants attention and you want cracker. So both the
Yeah,
parties are agreeing on the both the terms. So there is no negotiation. There is acceptance. So you are getting crackers and he's getting attention.
okay, yeah, that's a very fair point. So negotiation doesn't always mean that you have to hustle for something, right? It always doesn't mean that you have to hustle for something. If in case you can really understand, pinpoint what exactly the other person is valuing, and if you can position that in front of him or her, the the chances, the probability of accepting that becomes much higher, and he'll probably accept. So you're right. In negotiation, we have to sometimes hustle, and they say something, you say something, and then you come in between sometimes, right? But what if I give him exactly what he's looking for? And again, this is a very simplistic way of making you understand what sales is. Sales is a game of understanding what other person is valuing and what you are valuing, and also understanding other side, and then exchanging the value. So this is a simple example, Nitin. The thing which you're talking about is complex negotiation, where you have multiple parties and you have, various stakeholders, and they want something and they will not agree to you right away. But it all starts from this basic fundamental that can you understand what other party needs, and can they understand what you need? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
sir.
So this is like, I'm giving you in 2 hours, I cannot make you a ninja in sales and negotiation, guys. It's a very complex, it's a very deep topic. But what I'm trying to give you, I'm trying to shift your understanding from thinking that sales is not always convincing someone on your terms and conditions. Not always. Sales is the game where you understand what other person is valuing, and then you understand what you are valuing, and then you come into a conclusion that, okay, fine, this is how I will approach this negotiation, this is how I'll reach that place where we both can, benefit from each other. So it's about understanding first and then moving forward. If you all agree to this, what we are talking, give me a thumbs up so that I feel that, yeah, we are connecting. Give me a thumbs up, guys, or give me a yes in the chat, please, because I just gave you a definition of sales and negotiation. Sales and negotiation is a game of understanding, and understanding the values which two parties can bring, and then exchange of values. Okay, perfect. Let's move to the next slide. Now, I'll leave this doc for you to fill whenever you feel like, but right now we'll move to the next slide, okay? Okay, this is the pool which you need to participate in right now. It's very simple. I'm giving you a link. Go and click on that link and make sure you just participate. Okay, so you have like 30 seconds from now. Go and click on that link and just participate. So the question is, what do you want to do in next 1 to 2 years after graduation? You got 30 seconds. Let me just open the pool. Okay, are you guys done with casting your vote? If yes, then give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. Guys, please, more participation. I cannot see any energy from you guys. You need to be more energetic so that it's more lively conversation. I can see Yasir, I can see Radhika, I can see Vishal. Thank you for putting your name at least, that I can know who you are. I'm sorry I don't have that much time that I can talk with each one of you, but yeah, make sure you just put your name in the chat as I can know. Thank you, Yasir, for giving me thumbs up. So Yashi, you were able to cast your vote, right?
Yes. Sir.
Perfect, thank you. How about you, Radhika? Were you able to cast a vote? Actually, we got 10 votes so far, because 2 of the votes were actually casted by me in the start. So most of you want to, okay, something else. Okay, I'm waiting for few more minutes so that we can have more input on the vote side. 30 votes, 30 participants. Okay, should I wait for like 2 more minutes? Please give me a thumbs up if you want me to wait, so that we can get more input.
Sir, I think you should continue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Alrighty, perfect. So we have got 14 votes so far, and out of that, 9 actually say they want to work for organization, if they want to get a job. 2 of them have their own startup ideas, and 3 of them want to do something else. Actually, it's 10 now. Okay. So majority of you actually, can you see the poll results, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So poll, the majority of you want to actually work for an organization, get a job, and rightly so, because you can get some experience, you know how the market function, and then you can, create your own startup if you want to, or create your own business. So now let's understand this. If you're trying to get a job with an employer, you need to you need to negotiate your salary, you need to negotiate your, working hours, you need to negotiate your, holiday packages. I know in India, a lot of you don't do that. You just blindly accept it. But I should let you know that there's always a scope of negotiation. But the negotiation will only happen if you know how to negotiate for better package, better, better holidays, maybe better incentives. Oh, there are other things like holidays, right? Holidays you can go for. You can go for better salary. You can ask for better working time. There's always a room for negotiation, provided you know how to negotiate for that. Provided you know what you have as your strength, and provided you know what you can get from the other party. That's why I say it's understanding what you can bring, and understanding what they will need from you, and then you will be able to negotiate. So majority, if you want to work for an organization. So now let's go to the next slide where I'll talk about how to negotiate. So majority of you actually understand that you will be working for a job, and you'll be needing to negotiate with your employer for a job. So now there's another poll which I'm sending your way. Just participate. Do you think that you will be needing to negotiate ever in your life for something which you want to? Let me just pull this up for you. Yeah, this is the next poll. Quickly go and it will take you I'll give you 30 seconds to participate, and make sure you cast your vote. Do you think that you need to negotiate, you need to sell something, be it your skill set, be it your product, be it your services? Because few of you want to start your own startup. Even when you want to start your own startup, you need to negotiate with someone, right? If you want to start your startup, you sell your product or services. Okay. For the people who want to start their startup, can you tell me what kind of startup you're working on? Is that okay? Who are the people who are trying to start their startup? Can you unmute yourself, please, and introduce what your startup idea is? Okay, already. Let me see what the poll says in the meantime. Okay, 5. Okay, I'll wait for 2 more seconds. The majority of you say that you really need to negotiate at some point of your life for something, be it a job, be it with your employer, be it for your product, be it for your service. You will need to negotiate. I'll keep this, I'll let this flow for some more time because this is very important. You all need to understand that you will need to negotiate, and now it's about how you negotiate. That's what the session will be. Okay, perfect. There's a lot of people casting the vote in the favor that they will need to negotiate at some point of their life. So can you guys see this negotiation? Poll results, guys. If you can see that, please type yes in the chat. I'll not ask you to come off mute, but I can request you to just say yes if you see it. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Yasser. Okay, perfect. So majority of you think that you need to participate in sales and negotiation. Now let's see how to do it. So the content of the session will be 5 steps. Now, as you need to negotiate, there is structure for sales and negotiation. There is a way of negotiating things. The first thing is to understand 5 steps of highly effective sales cycle. That is the first thing you need to understand how to negotiate. There's a step-by-step process for that. Okay. The next thing we'll be doing is that we'll be actually understanding how to open a sales conversation, how to open a negotiation. Third thing is art of questioning, because when you're negotiating, you need to question your customers, you need to question your counterpart, you need to understand what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And fourth step will be designing high converting sales presentation, or high converting presentation for closing the sale. And then I'll give you some tips for how to negotiate well in the process of negotiation. So let's get going. Guys, before I go ahead, because there's so much silence, I want to know that are you guys really, are you guys connecting to me and on what we're trying to do here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if yes, then type yes in the chat. I know it takes time to open up. That's okay, but you can at least type yes and no in the chat. That I know that you are actually involved in the session. Okay, perfect. So let's get going. So there are 5 steps of highly effective sales cycle. There are 5 steps. Whenever you're trying to, let's say you're trying to go and talk to your employer, right? For your job, you need to know what exactly you can give to your employer, what skill sets you have, why you need to do the job which you're looking for. You need to first sit and talk to yourself that whatever you're looking for, whatever you're wanting for yourself, do you have that skill set to give to the person from where you're wanting from, right? So the first is know yourself. How well you know yourself, how well you know what you want, how well you know what values you can bring for the organization will decide how effectively you will be able to negotiate. So the first exercise will be know yourself. That is the first thing you should do. Because if you don't know what you want, then how will you ask for it, right? So I'll give you a quick 30 seconds, and you need to go to the same worksheet which I gave you, and to fill in what you really want and why you really want. So there's like few questions that you can deliver to your employer if in case it's a job. If in case it's a product or service which you're selling, make a list of the problems which your product or services can solve for the customer. What do you want to sell? Why do you want to sell and what you want to sell? That is also a future question. And what differently the skill set which you are looking to deliver to your customer. So guys, can you go and fill this up in quick, like it can be 1 or 2 words. It doesn't have to be that long, but can you just go and fill this up so that you know, so that we are together in this journey. Vishal, can you volunteer for that? Or Radhika or Nitin, anyone to share what you have written in the worksheet? Or as a matter of fact, anyone who want to share? Guys, if you want to become a good negotiator, you need to be confident speaker. You need to come up actually.
So for the first one, it can be good communication skills,
Okay, yeah, good communication skills.
good problem solver, analyzing the situation before taking any big step, because any big step can lead to the very big investment of the company. So analyzing the problem before, because the investment is huge, and to reverse that step is very big loss for the company.
ओके तो आप ये कह रहे हो कि कम्युनिकेशन स्किल सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है विच विल टेल टू गिव योर एम्प्लॉयर राइट
सर कम्युनिकेशन भी और गुड एनालाइजर भी.
good analyzer. So yes, skill set. This is what you're trying to give to your employer. You have a good communication skill. You're a good analyzer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So that's a good point. Now coming to the third point, why you want to sell what you want to sell? What is your motive? Why you want to do what you're trying to do?
Sir, as a business, as seen by a business, it all goes for the profit. We have a product and we want to sell that to earn the profit.
Okay, okay. So आपको क्या फायदा होगा? Because you're trying to sell for your company. The company will get the profit. How will you benefit? Basically,
If the
you'll make money, right? You'll make good commission. You'll make good salary.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There are fewer things which you can learn within when you're actually in the craft of sales and negotiation. When you're actually knowing, when you have good communication, you practice that when you're selling it, right? When you practice, it becomes more effective. You become more effective communicators. Your communication skills improve. Your presentation, and there's a growth opportunity which will come along the way on top of it, right? Okay, fine, perfect. So now, fourth step, we currently have a skill set, product, services that you're looking to sell or deliver. आपको लगता है कि आपके पास अभी currently ये सारा skill set है जो आप देना चाहते हो, that you want to give to your employer, you currently have that skill set, or you have to polish that skill set.
Sir, yes, definitely I have, but still working on it.
Still working on it. Fair enough. So now this is very critical. So make sure you fill this up. When you fill this up one time, it won't be that polished. But if you keep working on these 4-5 questions every few weeks, then you'll understand that the more you will start going deeper into it. The more deeper you go, the more clearer it gets. Now I can ask you, what kind of companies you want to work? There are so many companies. You want to work for FMCG, you want to work for insurance, you want to work for IT companies, you want for telecom companies. What kind of companies you want to work? Now that clarity will come when you start asking yourself more questions. That is my skill set more suitable for telecom industry? Would I enjoy telecom industry? Would I enjoy insurance industry? Would I enjoy pharmaceutical companies? So you need to ask those questions to yourself so that you know yourself better. So the first step of any negotiation is knowing what you want, knowing why you want, and knowing, that do you really like what you're trying to go for, right? Just my friend is doing it, so I will do it. No, it won't work like that. You'll be unsatisfied later. So you need to know what exactly you're trying to find out, what exactly you want to get for yourself. That's the first step of any successful negotiation. You know that what you're trying to negotiate for, and do you really want to negotiate for that or not? In this case, you want to negotiate for higher salary. You want to negotiate for better package. You want to negotiate better holidays. You want to negotiate better working hours. So do you think that why should your company give that thing to you? They'll only give those things to you if they see a value in giving those things to you. And when will they see a value? When you can give them a value which they want for themselves. What do they want? Your company wants higher salary, higher revenue, better commitment, loyalty, punctuality, those kind of things company look for, your learning attitude. If you can give these things, then only the company will be able to negotiate for better package, better salary, better holidays, whatever you ask for. So there's always a give and take relationship, but you should be knowing what the company is looking for, give it to them, and you should be also knowing what you're looking for, so the company can give you. Make sense, guys? If you can relate to what I was explaining you, give me a thumbs up so that we can, or give me a yes that we know what we are, at least in some kind of a conversation here. Let's go to the next slide, and we have another 1 hour. We'll try to wrap this up as fast as we can. Okay, so know thyself is the first step. Know thy value is what skill set you need to have, what skill set you have. Like Nitin just told, good communication skills, skill to analyze problems, problem solving skills. Those are the things which company looks for. And if you think you have it within yourself, then you actually, will be able to tell your employer that, hey, I have those things. And the employer will ask you that, can you give me an example that to prove that you actually have it. So, that is a step further which I'll talk about later, but right now that's where I'll stop for know thyself. Now, know thy customer is the third step. So you've known yourself, what you want, what you value in XYZ. Now when you're sitting in front of the customer, you should be knowing what your customer wants, what your customer values, where they are coming from. Because in negotiation, there will be a give and take. There will be customer, there will be say professional. There will be two parties involved. The customer is another party. So let's go deep into know thy customer. Know thy customer is knowing your customer. So know thy customer has a couple of things which I'll talk about. Number one, pre-sale research, like lead generation, right? That where will you get your customer from? Who will be your target customer? Let's first find out who will be your target customer. So here we go. Okay. So list 5 ways to generate leads for a business. So you have to know where your customers are, and then you target them to various social media platforms, online marketing, offline marketing. I'll not go in detail because it's not a marketing class, but I will let you know that you need to generate your lead before you actually can go and talk to those people. So first step is always lead generation. Now, once you have generated lot of leads, then comes the real piece where you need to talk with these people. First step, once you have all the leads in your pocket from various sources, be it through social media, be it through Facebook, LinkedIn, or be it through offline, online, you'll get leads when you start working on it, right? And then to filter those leads. This is called the concept of funneling. How many of you know the concept of funneling? Give me a yes in the chat if you know about it. You guys know what is funneling in sales and negotiation? Can we get some participation, guys? Vishal, I cannot see everyone. I can just see Vishal, Radhika's name. That's I'm taking the listen. DJ, DS, MY. Okay. Harish. Okay, so I'll tell you what funneling is. Okay. So what happens is you'll get a lot of leads from different sources. Once you get lead generation is the critical thing. Then all the leads which you get may not be the right lead to work with. They may not be ready to get, to buy from you or to negotiate with you. There may be so many companies in the market, but you will not be getting, job opportunity with everyone. You will be getting job opportunity from the company which closely matches in terms of requirement your skill set. Like the skill set which you have if the skill set which they are looking for, if it's a close match, then only they will try to bring you on board. If the customer is looking for something, there'll be so many people in the world, right? They'll be all, maybe becoming your lead, but they all not will buy from you because services which you're providing may not be the right fit for them. So you need to actually find the right party who can actually work with you. So the first step is filtering your customer, funneling down, like knowing whom to work with. That's the first important step when you start talking with a customer. Can you guys relate to it? If yes, then give me a thumbs up. So there are so many customers. There are so many leads. You have to first filter down all the leads which you think will be good fit to work with. The first step is filtering your customer. Now, how to filter the customer is something which we'll talk about. Filtering of customers will happen with a very solid call opening, a very solid sales opening. The way you open your call, the way you open your conversation, the way you open your email, or the way you open your face-to-face meeting, that's what will decide is how effective your filtering process will be, how effective you'll be able to work, find the right kind of customer, impress the right kind of customer, and how you'll be able to, take out the people right now who are not interested in work with you. The first step is actually designing a very solid call opening, a very solid sales opening, so that you magnetize all the people, all the potential customers towards yourself. Any questions so far, guys, about this first step on how to filter customers? So you need to filter customers when you're actually trying to generate your sales, or if you keep wasting time after wrong people. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It can be market segmentation, that what the product is and where the demand is high of that product.
Yeah, so you're right. You're actually trying to, find the right kind of market for yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So market segmentation is like, it's a piece of filtering. It's a part of filtering. That there are so many things in the market, but you cannot sell your services. You cannot sell your product. You cannot sell yourself to everyone. You need to know with whom you need to talk, how you need to talk, and what you'll be positioning. So you're talking right. Market segmentation is like segmenting the market and trying to find the right market for yourself.
Sir, the value of a product is there where it is not present, because if the product is available everywhere, its price goes down.
Yes. Yeah, it's always demand and supply, right? Like if there's too many demand, and if there's too many supply and there's less demand, then the prices will be down, will be low, just like that. But what we're trying to talk about here right now, Nathan, is we're trying to actually, when we actually, let's say you have, bunch of leads, right? Let's say you're trying to sell for a pharmaceutical company, and let's say you're trying to sell for a telecom company. Not everyone will be ready to buy from you at a given moment. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, okay, you know what? Let's have a discussion. So you can mute yourself. We can have a small chat around filtering, because this is a very important concept which we're talking about, and I think you'll be able to get a lot of out of it. Okay, so you can unmute yourself, Lizin. I request you for that. Okay, so basically, yeah, what we'll be doing is that, so when you have a bunch of leads to work with, and some will be good, some will not be so good. So first step is always, knowing who is the right customer to work with, and who are ready to work with you in given time frame, like in the 3 months time frame, 6 months time frame, who are ready to work with you, or maybe 1 or 2 week time frame. Because if they are ready to work with you, then only you will be able to, tell them the product or services you trying to sell. Step is, and how will you do the filtering? You'll be able to do the filtering by designing a very solid call opening. The way you open your conversation will actually either attract or repel the people who you want to attract or who you want to repel. Okay, so let's say you're selling, let's say you're trying to, sell a pharmaceutical product, or let's say you're trying to sell a telecom product. So you need to understand how will you design a call opening that can attract the people who want to buy telecom product right now. So the first step of designing a solid call opening would be to make a list of top 1 or 2 concerns that the customer want to get solved, or the first 1 or 2 concerns that you can solve for the customer. But the more appropriate way will be the 1 or 2 concerns the customer want to get solved generally. We want to get solved generally. Okay, solve caps when you direct to it. Want to get solved. The first thing which you need to keep in mind is that when you're designing a solid call opening, you know what 1 or 2 things which your customer want to get solved. That is the first step. Second, so let's say, let's take an example. Let's say you want to sell a telecom product, for example, right? What does the customer want? They want high-speed internet, really high, so that they can have all the things which they want to do in their day-to-day life, like video conferencing, Zoom, WhatsApp, YouTube, everything. They want a high-speed internet. And secondly, they want, comparative price. Thirdly, it can be something, in which they can like the range of the modems will be good, that can have wider range in the home. So those things they look for, right? So make a list of 1 or 2 things which the customer really, really want on the product or services which you want to sell. If in case you're trying to go for a job, make a list of 1 or 2 skill sets or 1 or 2 things which your employer may look for. Like if employer want a skill set for, let's say they are looking for someone who is a very strong coding background, make sure that you highlight that if in case you are actually having it in the initial conversation. If in case they are looking for someone with a strong business development, marketing background, or marketing, experience, marketing internship, make sure you tell that, hey, you have that skill set, so that they know that they're talking to the right person, and then you can have a deeper conversation. So in the opening, make sure you highlight the things which the customer may be valuing, the 1 or 2 things. It should not be that very deep, it should be high level, but they should be getting understanding, fine, this guy can actually solve the problem which I am looking to get solved. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you should indicate that you had past successes, if in case you have in your profession. If you're a fresher, indicate that you can actually solve it, because you can show some projects which you have done, you can show some internship you have done, you can show some certification which you have taken. So whatever which can connect to the requirement or the value the customer may value, you need to have that. So your past success, your expertise, your certification, all those things count when you're designing a call opening. Once you have done those 2 things, then it will be call to action. Means, let's say you're spoken with a customer, they sound interested, you will not be able to sell them right away. You will need to actually invite them for a next round of meeting, or a next round of demonstrating a product, demonstrating a service, means going deeper with what they really want to do, what they really want to get, like, being super specific. And that will only happen if you really go deeper into discovery with the customer. So first step, you show them that, yeah, you actually have what they're looking for. It's like a trailer of the movie, right? If movie trailer out there, they show you what exactly the movie will be, then you feel interested, and then you go to the theater. Same thing. You first show what you can really do or at a high level, then they feel interested, and then they will go with a deeper conversation. Okay? How many of you can relate to what I just spoke about right now? Give me a thumbs up in the chat, or unmute yourself and let me know. I'm requesting again that I want to hear from your side. I've just heard Nitin and Yasir. I haven't heard anyone else so far. So, it's fun to have more discussion with people. So if you can relate to the solid call opening process, like making a list of 1 to 2 concerns of the customer. Sorry, go ahead. I guess someone was trying to speak. Okay, perfect. So the solid call opening, in case of interview, you'll be asked, introduce yourself, tell me about yourself, right? This is a common question which you always get. Would you agree? Say yes in the chat. Okay, perfect. So in solid call opening, you need to actually know these 3 things, and then you design a call opening which should have these 3 elements, like 1 to 2 concerns which your customer want to get solved, the skill set or past success which you actually have and which you can actually embed in your call opening, and then call for action. Means fine, there is something which I can do for you. Let's have further conversation. Let's have a meeting tomorrow or day after tomorrow, right? Something like that. These are three important steps. And then these are the things which you need to actually design for a solid call opening so that you can actually filter your customer nicely. So once you have designed a solid call opening, then you will be able to filter your customer in the first step. This is the first step, and you'll be able to filter your customer in the first step here. And then the people who are filtered, they will remain out. The people whom you think are qualified to work further, they come to the next stage, where you have all the people who are interested. You can work with them. They're no guarantee that they'll buy from you, but they are actually solid leads. They're actually qualified leads to work with. Now you need to see you and you actually serve them the way they want to get served. Okay, this is the second stage of any sales and negotiation, process of fixing the in the filtering of the customers here. In the second stage, we actually to work with the second step is actually most important step according to me, because that's where you actually do real work with your customer. This is also important. First step is also important, but second step is really important because that's where you actually do the real work with your customer. You actually go deeper with your customer. You really understand what your customer is looking for. You really understand who are the important stakeholders. You understand everything about the customer in the second stage of sales and negotiation. First step is just filtering. First step is just generating qualified leads. Second stage is actually really knowing your customer. Okay, I think no questions. I think you're understanding what we're talking about already. Okay, perfect. So let's go to the next step. Now you understand there are three stages of filtering, and in the last stage you actually get your final result, the final sales. So this is a step-by-step process. There's the filtering, so you're qualifying the lead, you are working on the lead, and then you're closing the sale. That's how you do. Now let's go to there's something which is very interesting. There's something called two-option strategy. Have you guys heard about it? Two-option strategy. In two-option strategy, what we do when we're trying to set the appointment, because once you qualified the lead, you need to set a solid appointment with your customer. So that what you need to do is that you need to give them, two options at a time. Let's say the customer, your qualified lead, want to actually, work with you. Okay, fine. How can we set a good appointment timing that they agree to, having conversations? There's something called two-option strategy where you give them two options at the same time. Like, okay, fine. For example, let's say a customer is talking to you and then you want to set the timing, and you can say that, can we do a meeting tomorrow or day after? You give them two options. Or this week or next week, give them two options. You just say, yeah, tomorrow is fine. Fine. What time tomorrow? It can be the morning or afternoon. Afternoon, fine. What time? 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. So you keep on giving them, options to pick from, so that what happens is that they ultimately pick one option and you get the final desired result of getting a point. So that's called two-option theory. Anyone have any questions? Are you getting what two-option theory is? It's very important, guys. It will help you to set a lot of appointments with your customer when you're selling.
So this can be only in time or any other thing also?
This option theory is actually applicable everywhere. You need to give options when you're giving them final deal. You need to give them option when you're giving them timing for meeting. You need to give options. So, it's always good to give options in sales and negotiation. Don't give them one single option. Because if you give them one, okay, tell me why you think we should give options. What is the power of giving options? Can anyone tell me what is the real power of giving options?
Sir, we give them two options because in the both options we are okay with that. That if he chooses this, we are okay with that also, and if he chooses that, we are okay with that also.
Absolutely, you are very, very, very correct, Nitin. I'll take this a step further. I'll tell you what. We humans are actually designed. We actually want to be free. We want to make our own choices. We don't want to be pushed in a corner and made to do what other person is saying, right? We always love options. We always love freedom. Option is a symbol of freedom, actually, right? So if you give them options, they feel like they're in control of the negotiation, they're in control of the conversation, and they are they have the power to decide when to go, where to go, sorry, to decide when to meet and what timing to meet. And so that when you start giving them options, they feel in control. When they feel in control, then they actually start liking you and they would like to work with you. Option is actually making them feel in control, making them feel more free, and giving them the power to choose their own timing. So that's why we ask choose their own timing or choose their own options they want. So that's the psychology. No matter what they pick, end of the day, you both are winning. You're also winning, but they feel more better if they're giving options. So are you able to understand? Able to relate to it, Nitin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So guys, giving option is very, very, very critical in sales and negotiation. If you give them options, then you actually make them feel in control, and they really like negotiation process. So make sure you give them, them options whenever you're negotiating, whenever you're giving them anything to choose from. Give them options. Okay. Alrighty. So now let's go to the next step. This is very critical option, giving option to option theory. Now let's go to the discovery session. This is where the real meat is. This is where this now this is all of you who are not who are listening. I say it can take because the whole game of negotiation is around understanding yourself and understanding the customer. Okay. So, and now we are talking about how you will really understand the customer, how you will really know what your customer wants, how you really know what are the pain points, how you really know who are the important stakeholders. All the things we'll be discussing in this slide. So make sure you pay close attention and make sure you're involved. Can we get some more participation, guys? I'm feeling alone here. So and thanks Nitin for giving me support, and thanks Manish. Can we get some more support in the session? Because I'm trying to feel a lot of energy, and it's always good to have some energy from your side. So can we get some support, guys? Can I get some more yeses in the chat? That you want to learn how to really understand the customer. So you will need to understand someone. You will need to understand your husband. You will need to understand your wife. You will need to understand your kids. You will need to understand your bosses. You will need to understand someone in your life, even though you may not be directly in this journey of face and negotiation, but you will still be selling to someone. I was selling to my brother when I was 13 years old, unknowingly, but I was doing it. So you will need to do this, no matter what if you like it or not. If you want to do it really well, if you want to be really effective, make sure you pay attention, make sure you get involved. So, okay, let's go. Thanks, Manish. Let's go into understanding how to discover well with your customer, how to really know what your customer is looking for. The first thing which I'll talk about here is use of open-ended question. What do you mean by open-ended question? Can anyone tell me what is an open-ended question?
Hello.
The straight question.
Sorry, is it Himanshu?
Asking them random questions about the product.
Asking. Okay, Himanshu. Open-ended question. Can you rethink what I'm talking about?
Sir, basically, sir, basically the product which you are selling to the customer. On the basis of that, we'll ask them question.
Sure.
So supposingly, if we are selling them a pen, then we will ask what type of a pen are you looking for. So basically, what does a pen means to you? So on a basis of that, we'll ask and raise different questions.
Absolutely, you are very close. I'll come back to you, Himanshu. I think you have a question. Go ahead. Even I can see your hand up. You have something to ask?
Open-ended questions, the answer will be yes or no.
That is a close-ended question, listen, if you're talking about.
The straight to the point answer is needed in the open-ended questions.
Okay, let me. So that is the thing which you're talking about, Nitin. You are actually talking about close-ended question. That's also important. But let me come back to the point of open-ended. So open-ended question plays a very critical role in understanding a customer. Himanshu, you are very close. Okay, you are very close in your answer. That can you just give one or two open-ended questions, Himanshu, so that everyone can listen? If you can please, or else I'll for sure give you the example. What do
Uh,
you can you give me some example of open-ended question?
Sir, supposingly, I'm asking that I have asked this question to the customer once, and it was and it was related to a pen. So it was, do you believe in the idea of longevity? Do you look that idea of longevity in a pen?
Okay.
And sir, another question was that what does a pen mean to you? How
What does a
important
pen
and how crucial is pen? Yeah, thank you.
mean to you? How crucial is pen? I think you nailed it, Himanshu. You're actually very right. So guys, what Himanshu is saying that he's trying to he's not trying to restrict the customer, right? That okay, what kind of pen you want, or would you take a black pen or red pen? Those are closed-ended questions. But he's asking, what does a pen mean to you? It can mean so many things. It can be used for writing. It can be used for playing. It can be used for something depending on the imagination. It can mean so many things to the customer. So open-ended question is a question which actually opens up you know possibilities, immense amount of possibilities for a customer to think and think creatively about it. And that's what you want from the customer with regards to product. What do your product mean to them? It can mean anything. Now, whatever it means to them, accordingly you can actually, position your product. So that's very important. You understand what an open-ended question, how you will use an open-ended question. Like in this case, what does the pen mean to you? It can mean so many things. But whatever it means to them is important because that's how you position your product, right? If you can position it. Okay, I was seeing Nitin's hand up. Nitin, sorry, what was the question? What was your point?
Sir, basically, giving the views for a particular product can be that open-ended question. Huh?
Giving what? Sorry,
Views of a particular
views.
person.
So you mean to say giving a demo? Is that what you mean to say?
Sir, demo is another thing, and views after using a particular product is different thing.
Okay, so views, review. You meant to say review, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Review will be actually something which yeah, that can be, but it's a little bit different. Review is something which person gives on their experience, absolutely. But when you actually, uh, start asking questions to understand what they think about the product, you first need to understand how they feel about the product, what they perceive about the product. Ritika, I will come to you. Just hang on. Perceive of the product, right? So the first thing of open-ended question is let them go wild with the imagination with the product or service which you're trying to give, or with the skill set which you're trying to give. Okay, let's say you have a skill set of telemarketing. I'm just giving an example. Different company will use it for their own benefit. A telemarketing agent in an insurance company will be asked to generate insurance leads, but same person, same skill set in a pharmaceutical company will be asked to generate pharmaceutical, different kind of business, even the same skill set, but different, and the pitches will be different. The way of speaking will be the pitch will be different. It will shift with the industry. So it's about asking, right, how they feel about the product, how they perceive the product. So what does the pain mean to you? It was a very beautiful question, Himanshu. I really like it. It's something which I learned. And according to me, I was thinking that, okay, how would you use the product? What do you mean by, what do you feel about the product? What is your perception of a product? But this is a very good thing. What does a pen mean to you? So that's a very beautiful question. I think this is something I'll keep in my kitty. Thank you for that. And Ritika, sorry, Ritik Gupta.
Yes, sir. So
Yes, go ahead.
open-ended question are also those questions which describes the consumer feelings about the product. It is either negative or positive. If it is negative, it will be helpful for the company to use it and just make that weakness मतलब उस weakness को खत्म करने में वो कंपनी मदद कर सकती है ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन में क्लोज एंडेड क्वेश्चन में वो चीज पॉसिबल नहीं होती उतनी ज्यादा
सही बोल रहे हो
वो कस्टमर बता नहीं पाता कि हम इस चीज से परेशानी या फिर इस चीज से परेशानी उस प्रोडक्ट की।
करेक्ट करेक्ट, आप सही बोल रहे हो कि ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन में आप कस्टमर का फीलिंग को समझ पाते हो, राइट? कि उनके अंदर इस प्रोडक्ट को लेकर क्या परसेप्शन है, क्या फीलिंग है, वो खुश है या उनका जो एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोडक्ट है इस पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर में वो उनको मतलब दे आर फीलिंग गुड अबाउट इट और दे डोंट फील गुड अबाउट इट। अगर वो अच्छा फील नहीं कर रहे हैं तो फिर क्या ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपके पास जो प्रोडक्ट है वो उनका वो जो पेन पॉइंट है उसको दूर कर पाए, राइट? तो ये सब जो पॉइंट है ना, हाँ बोलो, हेलो, ओके। तो ये सारा जो क्वेश्चन है, कस्टमर फीलिंग अबाउट द प्रोडक्ट, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन, हाउ डज द कस्टमर फील, so how will you know what a customer feels? It comes back to the same question, what does it mean to you, how do you feel about the product, how do you feel about the services, how do you feel about what we are trying to do, right? So it's about एक क्वेश्चन देना है और उसके बाद उसको बोलने देना है कि स्पीक एज मच एज यू वांट, जितना बोल सको आप, जितना वो बोलेंगे उतना इंफॉर्मेशन आपको मिलेगा। द मोर दे स्पीक द मोर इंफॉर्मेशन, द मोर इंटेल यू विल गेट, the more intel you will get, the more powerful your presentation and your solution will be. Because if you don't know what exactly they are looking for, what they feel, what they are feeling, ये अच्छा word है बहुत, feeling is a very good word, so make sure you guys make a note of it. How the customer feel is very important. Sorry, yeah, Ritik, आपका हाथ ऊपर है, go ahead.
Sir, feedback is also a type of open-ended question, ना? A feedback.
Feedback, हाँ बोल सकते हो ऐसे। इसने रिव्यू कहा था ना नितिन ने, रिव्यू इज समथिंग विच, मतलब ये आप जो बोल रहे हैं ये भी रिव्यू भी सिमिलर ही हुआ, राइट? इसमें आप दोनों ही सही बोल रहे हैं रिव्यू, रिव्यू और आपका फीडबैक। एक्चुअली नितिन यू आर राइट एक्चुअली इन अ वे दैट रिव्यू और फीडबैक में क्या होता है कि उसने कुछ प्रोडक्ट यूज किया, उसके बाद उस प्रोडक्ट का रिव्यू ले रहे हो आप, उस प्रोडक्ट का फीडबैक ले रहे हो कि वो आपको कैसा लगा, ठीक है? देखिए अगर आप नया प्रोडक्ट के साथ जा रहे हो देन हाउ विल यू पोजीशन है उनको, उनके बाद उसके बाद आपको प्रोडक्ट का जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए होता है उनसे कि आपने आपने जब आपका ये एक्सपीरियंस कैसा कैसा रहा व्हेन लेट्स से दे यूजिंग एयरटेल इंटरनेट फॉर एग्जांपल, राइट? तो हाउ इज योर इंटरनेट सर्विस, व्हाट डज द इंटरनेट सर्विस मीन टू यू? तो रिव्यू थोड़ा थोड़ा अलग हो जाता है, where they will be very specific टू पर्टिकुलर कंपनी, टू पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट, ठीक है? लेकिन अब जब ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन पूछते हो ना, वो उसमें हम ये जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि वो क्या क्या पॉसिबिलिटीज हो सकता है जो जिसके लिए वो प्रोडक्ट सर्विस को यूज कर सकते हैं, क्या उनके लिए बेनिफिशियल हो सकता है। तो थोड़ा सा अलग है, ठीक है, क्लोज है, थोड़ा अलग है। ये जो क्वेश्चन है व्हाट डज द पेन मीन टू, ये बहुत अप्रोप्रिएट है बिकॉज ये इट विल ओपन प्लेथोरा ऑफ पॉसिबिलिटीज फॉर द कस्टमर टू स्पीक अबाउट कि क्या क्या हो सकता है उनके अंदर, क्या क्या यूजर्स कर सकते हैं, वो कुछ भी हो सकता है। तो इसमें रिव्यू थोड़ा सा एक पर्टिकुलर कंपनी के स्पेसिफिक हो जाता है, एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट के स्पेसिफिक हो जाता है, लेकिन जो तुम्हारा मीन होता है, व्हाट डज पेन मीन टू यू, व्हाट डज प्रोडक्ट मीन टू यू, वो उनका यूजेबिलिटी को बताता है कि हाँ ये इंटरनेट ना मैं किस तरह से यूज कर सकता हूँ, मैं ब्राउजिंग करूंगा, मैं बफरिंग करूंगा, मैं ये करूंगा, मैं वो करूंगा, मैं 10 तरह का चीज करूंगा। लेकिन जब आप रिव्यू लेने जाते हो उसमें ये हो जाता है कि यार आपने एयरटेल का इंटरनेट यूज किया, हाउ डू यू फील अबाउट इट? आप समझ रहे हो डिफरेंस?
Yes, sir.
नितिन, ऋतिक,
Yes,
समझ रहे हो
sir.
आप? हाँ, तो रिव्यू में थोड़ा इंडस्ट्री थोड़ा प्रोडक्ट स्पेसिफिक हो जाता है, कंपनी स्पेसिफिक हो जाता है कि वो आपने जो प्रोडक्ट यूज किया उसके हिसाब से। लेकिन आप जब ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन पूछते हो किसी भी पर्टिकुलर सर्विसेज को लेके या प्रोडक्ट को लेके इन जनरल पूछते हो, तो वो आप उनसे ये पूछना चाहते हो कि आपके लिए प्रोडक्ट क्या मायने रखता है, हाउ विल इट इम्पैक्ट योर लाइफ, हाउ विल इट मेक इट बेटर फॉर यू इन योर लाइफ, राइट? तो ये एक थोड़ा डिफरेंस है, क्लोज है। रिव्यू से भी बहुत सारा इंटेल मिलता है कि हाँ उनका ये पेन पॉइंट है, ये अच्छा है, तो हाउ कैन आई सॉल्व दिस पेन पॉइंट फॉर द कस्टमर, तो सर वो हमारे पास आ जाए, राइट? ये सब भी है। लेकिन द बेटर ओपन एंड क्वेश्चन ये सब होता है कि you get to know what the customer want, what the customer feels, how will the customer open up, how is the customer looking towards your product or services। तो सारा जो बड़ा बड़ा possibilities होता है ना, that open ended question will open for you, ठीक है? Are we all good? Okay, let's go to the next slide because अभी वो कुछ कवर करना है, टाइम हमारे पास मुश्किल से 45 मिनट्स है, so we'll move again। So use of close ended question। अच्छा, close ended question कब पूछते हैं बताओ आप? Anyone? When can we ask a close ended question?
Sir, when we want to become more specific that you like or not.
You're right, you're right। आपने प्रोडक्ट आपने पूछा क्वेश्चन पूछा, उसके बाद आप उनसे पूछोगे कि ठीक है, you know, in terms of internet speed, would you like 50 Mbps or you would like 60 Mbps? What will be enough for you, right? So वो ऐसा करके फिर वो specific हो जाते हैं, correct? Yeah, let me go ahead.
Sir, it can be that if you are satisfied with the product services, type yes or no. Again, the
Yeah,
review
yeah.
type questions.
हाँ, इसमें थोड़ा रिव्यू भी हो जाता है, एब्सोल्युटली, ये सही बोल रहे हो। ऐसे ये आपने जो कहा ना, जब भी आपको स्पेसिफिक इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालना होता है कस्टमर से, राइट, कि क्या आपका एग्जिस्टिंग स्पीड सफिशिएंट है कि नहीं, क्या आपका आप ये यूज कर रहे हो, आप हैप्पी है कि नहीं, ये है ना, आर यू हैप्पी और नॉट, आर यू सेटिस्फाइड और नॉट, और आर यू लुकिंग फॉर गेटिंग ए न्यू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और नॉट। जहां पे भी यस और नो का जानकारी चाहिए होता है, राइट, वेयर यू वांट टू गेट यस और नो काइंड ऑफ थिंग, that's where you ask the specific questions, that's where you ask close-ended questions. Close-ended question हम ज्यादा नहीं पूछते हैं, in sales and negotiation पूछते हैं, उसका बैलेंस है। We'll try to focus on the open-ended question. The start में open-ended question इसलिए पूछते हैं कि हम चाहते हैं कि इनके बारे में सब पता चल जाए, we know everything about them. That's what the intention is in the start. That's why we start with open-ended question. So open-ended question बहुत important है, close-ended question भी बहुत important है, depending on the situation. ठीक है? So what do you really looking for? What are you looking for? ये एक open-ended question हो जाता है, ठीक है? What does this mean to you? ये बहुत अच्छा question है. How you want to intend to use it? ये भी उसी टाइम में ये open-ended question है, ठीक है? यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Open-ended, close-ended, because आप जिस चीज को भी सेल करने जाओगे, आपको उसके बारे में सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन कस्टमर से चाहिए, वो क्या फील करता है, उसे क्या चाहिए, उसे क्या नहीं चाहिए, वो सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको चाहिए। उसके लिए you need to use this two important question type, open-ended question and closed-ended question, to really go in depth of understanding customer psyche, customer feeling, customer liking, customer intentions to use, सब कुछ जानने के लिए ये दो टूल होता है, ठीक है? If you guys feel that ये important था आप लोगों के लिए, give me a thumbs up, it will really help me. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now जब आप उनसे, आपको ये पता चल गया कि उनको क्या चाहिए, आपको ये पता चल गया कि उनका क्या इंटेंशन है यूज करने का, नाउ एक सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है ये जानना, ठीक है, कि कौन कौन से लोग, who all will be involved in negotiation, who all are the stakeholders. For example, you're talking to director of sales of a company and pitching a software product in front of him. You discussed everything, you did everything, तो अच्छा लगा, but the person is not saying yes to you. Can you tell me why he cannot say yes to you sometimes? सब कुछ समझा चुके हो आप, you have solved the problems, you have understood everything, but you are not able to get a yes from the guy. Anyone want to tell me what can be the reason? Yeah, go ahead.
So maybe he's not interested on that thing.
अंकुश, मैंने इसमें आप अभी जो बताया कि वो सब कुछ है, उनका प्रॉब्लम भी सॉल्व हो रहा है, वो इंटरेस्टेड भी है, वो सब कुछ हो रहा है उसमें, बट स्टिल ही इज नॉट एबल टू से यस टू यू। उनका जो करंट कोट है, जो सॉफ्टवेयर यूज कर रहे हैं, द प्राइसिंग ऑफ इट इज इवन हायर देन व्हाट यू आर कोटिंग, you are quoting him lower, the quality is better, the problem is getting solved, everything is done, but still he is not able to say yes to you. I'll tell you why. कितनी बार हम बात उससे कर रहे होते हैं जिसके पास ability नहीं होता है yes or no करने का, so who cannot make a decision. He understands the problem, he understands everything is good, but he doesn't have the authority to say yes or no to you. Maybe the CEO makes a decision, maybe the CFO makes a decision, right? So this case, you should be doing who are the important stakeholders, right? Who are the important stakeholders? Let's say CFO जो है company का, he makes all the financial decisions to say yes or no to the particular software, particular product. जब वो yes बोलेगा, then only the director can say yes to implement it. Director implements all of things. He's a part of big office. He's a head of operation in many cases. But CFO is the guy who actually makes financial decisions, right? So in that case, we should be very aware that we are actually able to pinpoint who should be actually involved in this process of negotiation, right? So Abhi, when he's not saying yes, then you need to ask, okay, fine, I can understand that you're not able to say yes. Who is the person who can make this? आपको पूछना होगा. And the sooner you know, the better it is. So when you are negotiating with anyone, ask them who all will be involved in this negotiation process, who will make this deal happen. Will it be CFO, will it be CMO, will it be CEO, whoever. Okay, so that is important. ऐसा नहीं हो you spend so much time with one single person and he's not saying yes to you because he cannot say yes to you. He's a part of operation, सब समझेगा लेकिन he will not say yes to you. Make sure that first meeting में you come to know that with whom you're talking is a person who can make a decision or he's also involved in the panel of decision.
लकी सर जिसके पास डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर हो हमारे को उस बंदे को ढूंढना है फर्स्ट मीटिंग में. ओके
जरूरी नहीं है मैं बता रहा हूँ इसलिए क्योंकि मान लो आप किसी कंपनी डायरेक्टर से बात करते हो, ठीक है. जैसे मैं अभी अपने सामने में डायरेक्टर को बहुत से डायरेक्टर्स को अप्रोच करता हूँ, ठीक है. डायरेक्टर्स जो होते हैं वो पार्ट ऑफ ऑपरेशन होते हैं, उनको पता होता है कि निटी ग्रिटी क्या है. दे नो द मैन्यूट डिटेल्स ऑफ द ऑपरेशन, दे नो व्हाट विल बी बेस्ट सूटेबल, दे नो व्हाट विल बी बेस्ट इन व्हाट बेस्ट इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द कंपनी. बट जब फाइनेंशियल डिसीजंस आते हैं ना, दे कैन नॉट टेक इट इन फ्यू केसेस. They have to go to the CFO of the company, right? So basically, मेरे कहने का ये मतलब है डायरेक्टर और CFO में मैं differentiate नहीं कर रहा. I'm just trying to explain you that you should be knowing who can make the decision, and you should be also making sure that he's a part of discussion. ये एक चीज है. So that's what this point is. Find all party negotiation including influencer. All party में वो सारे आते हैं जो decision को लेने में directly indirectly involved है, और इन्फ्लुएंसर वो लोग हैं जो एक्चुअली डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व नहीं है लेकिन वो डिसीजन को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकते हैं. एनी क्वेश्चन सो फार? आई एम रशिंग थ्रू लिटिल बिट बिकॉज हमारे पास टाइम थोड़ा कम है, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम रशिंग थ्रू. बट समझ में आ रहा है कि ये क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है आपको ये जानना कि सारे लोग जो पैनल में हैं दे आर द वन हु कैन हेल्प टू मेक डिसीजन और दे कैन एक्चुअली मेक डिसीजन. गुड? ओके, परफेक्ट.
यस सर.
नाउ let's go to the next point, influencer. मैं एक बात बताता हूँ, ठीक है. इन्फ्लुएंसर कैसे डिसाइड कर सकते हैं? इन्फ्लुएंसर भी जानना क्यों जरूरी है किसी किसी केस में? कई बार होता है कि you know this is something which happened with me. I was a telecom, I was doing a big iPhone deal with a big corporate. Okay, उससे business में deal कर रहा था. Around 20-30 iPhones का एक लॉट था जो हमें डिस्पैच करना. सब कुछ हो गया. एट द एंड उसकी वाइफ बोलती है कि आई डोंट वांट आईफोन, आई वांट सैमसंग. 30 आईफोन के लॉट में एक बंदी को सैमसंग चाहिए था और डील अच्छा पड़ा था, क्योंकि उसने वो हाँ नहीं की तो सारा कुछ रुका पड़ा था, क्योंकि he was not the main person in the business, he was just an influencer. तो sometimes कई बार इन्फ्लुएंसर्स भी होते हैं जो इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, हमें पता नहीं चलता. वी डोंट नो हु आर द इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, बट इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू फाइंड आउट इफ देयर इज इन्फ्लुएंसर in the panel or not, who can influence the decision but they will not make a decision. Then you convince them, okay, इनसे बात करना. So this is something which I'm trying to take you deeper into negotiation, that knowing all the party, knowing the influencer, knowing who can make a difference in the negotiation, to know these small steps, then you can successfully cater to them, bring them together and make the negotiation successful. I'm not going in detail because the बहुत बड़ा topic है. It's a very big topic to discuss. Negotiation, stakeholders, influencers. It's impossible to do it in like 2 hours, but I hope you're getting the point. Are you good? Give me a thumbs up, guys. I think there are some kind of more momentum in the class now. Ankush spoke up, Ritik spoke up, Himanshu spoke up, Ritin spoke up, Yasir spoke up. So I'm very glad you're participating, but keep participating, it really helps me. So now, after you found out who are the influencers, then you find out how soon they want to do the deal. Are they trying to do the deal in 1 week from now, or 2 weeks from now, or 3 months from now, or 6 months from now? Because if they are actually looking for a deal in next 6 months, then you have to prioritize accordingly. तो ये सब जानना जरूरी है कितनी जल्दी उनको करना है, ठीक है. और भी सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन आ सकता है ना कि do they have any contract or not, or how much they are paying right now or not. सब कुछ जानना है, ठीक है. छोटा डिटेल्स आपको डिस्कवरी सेशन में जानना है. so that you can position your product, your services very nice. तो यहाँ पे मैंने 5-6 क्वेश्चंस दिया है, आप अपने वर्कशीट में जाओगे तो वर्कशीट में भी आपको वो सारे क्वेश्चंस मिलेंगे। आप इस वर्कशीट को अभी यूज नहीं कर रहे हो, you're not using the worksheet right now, but whenever you will be using it, whenever you will be negotiating, ये वर्कशीट को खोल लेना, ठीक है, खोल लेना और इसको फिल करने का ट्राई करना फॉर योर negotiation. Trust me, it will really help you. This is something which is very well thought out. सोच के मैंने बनाया है कि आपको जब negotiation, ये सब मैं खुद करता था, is to help me, right? So you will be also getting help when you will be negotiating. So preparation होता है ना, preparation before negotiation. List of all things that you want to give to your customer that can help them grow or push their agenda. 4-5 चीज जो आप दे सकते हो अपने कस्टमर को, जो उनको फायदा करे, 4-5 चीज जो आप लेना चाहते हो कस्टमर से, जो आपको फायदा करे, ये प्रिपरेशन का पार्ट है. To make a list of everything. Okay. Now you tell me, why do you want to prepare for negotiation for sale? Prepare क्यों करना होता है? आपको क्यों पता होना चाहिए कि आपको 5 चीज क्या चाहिए, उनको 5 चीज क्या, आपको क्या लगता है वो 5 चीज कौन से हैं जो उनको चाहिए होता है? तो ये प्रिपरेशन we करते हैं, we will do preparation. Why we do this preparation for negotiation? Anyone want to volunteer? That why you need to fill this up? This is some, yeah, go ahead.
So to make good deals.
Yes, to make good deals. Yes. What else? There are a couple of reasons. One is, yeah, one is right, good deals. Anything else? Guys, Ankush made a very good point, making good deals. Your priority is very clear. आपके पास 4 priorities है. ऐसा ना हो जाए कि negotiate something and you miss out on the important priority. Let's say you're negotiating on salary, right? मैं आपके सामने fill कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? You're negotiating for a business, for an employment deal. आपके लिए important क्या होगा? Salary. आपके लिए important क्या होगा? Holiday. आपके लिए important क्या होगा? Benefit. आपके लिए important क्या होगा? Sorry, यहाँ पे आएगा ये. This is important for you. Salary, holiday. Because if you're clearly knowing what you're looking for, then you will be able to negotiate, right? But if, let's say, you forgot about benefits and they give you very bad benefits, right? Like benefit means, health coverage, dental coverage, those kind of stuff. So if it's not in front of you, you will miss it out. So that's why it's important to write what you really value. Holiday, salary, benefits, and then working hours, maybe. You need to know these things. It's very important. You need to know your priorities. What all things are very important for me in the negotiation at the same time, or in sales. At the same time, you should be also knowing what is important for them. Maybe your skill set of marketing or sales. Yes. Then maybe they want someone who has a good track record, or maybe it's a company which actually want to work with someone who can prove, who have good references. Those are referred by someone else. Okay, reference important. So depending on what they're looking for, you should make a list. Obviously, you'll not come to know everything because you need to ask from them in the discovery session. But whatever you think is important for them, make a list of that. And you can go to the job description, look into what the requirements are, and then fill that accordingly. You can do some research. So then this is the part of preparation. Is that clear? That why we need to prepare for sales and negotiation right in advance? Guys, give me a thumbs
Yes,
up
sir.
at least. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. So सारे कुछ को लिस्ट बना लो जो आपको चाहिए होता है ना. अगर ये आपको ज्यादा पता नहीं, if you don't know very clearly that list of things that you want to give to your customer, you should be knowing that, but at least you should be very clear what you are looking for from the customer. दोनों साइड पता होना चाहिए. You should be knowing very, very, very clearly what you are looking for, looking to give, and also looking to get. Okay, that's the preparation phase. Now, second thing in negotiation will be when you are on the table. ये आपने लिस्ट बना लिया. Now you're sitting and asking questions to your customer. Okay, Mr. Customer, what do you want? All the open-ended questions, open-ended, closed-ended questions which we spoke about. Use all those open-ended, closed-ended questions which you created to really find out what the customer needs. Now, उसके बाद जब आप questions पूछोगे, तो आप यहाँ पे लिस्ट करोगे कि उनको क्या चाहिए. This is something which you'll fill after you have really spoken with the customer during the meeting. Can you see this piece, guys? During the meeting piece, can you see this during the meeting box? ये आपके word
Yes, sir.
doc में भी है. Okay, fine. ये सारा जो चीज है, this is something which you'll fill when you are actually talking with the customer. आप उनसे बात करोगे तो उनका तीन चार top priorities क्या? What do they really need? The top 4 things. Take a list. And when you're also negotiating, when you're talking with the customer, talking with the counterpart, you also need to find out that list of the things the customer can give. It can be, early buying. If they make the deal faster, or if they can give you some referrals, or they can give you whatever you're looking for, right? So make a list of 4 or 5 things which the customer can give you. Make a list of 4 or 5 things the customer is looking from you. This is something which you'll come to know after having a discussion, after having a meeting with them. Okay? ये fill करना होता है. This is very 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 important. ये सब discovery phase के अंदर आता है. This is under discovery phase. We are actually doing all the stuff, but make sure that you go deeper into discovery so that you get the right priorities on the list. If you are discussing, if you're putting wrong things in the list, you start negotiating on the wrong thing. The wrong thing, negotiation on the wrong things will not give you result. Okay? So make sure you very clearly know what the priorities are. You very clearly know what they're looking for, and fill that in here. All right. Now let's move to the next phase. ये बहुत important है. ये आपको बहुत जगह से बताया भी नहीं जाएगा. इसके बारे में बहुत डिस्कस भी नहीं करते हैं. लेकिन ये आप करोगे तो ये आपको और स्पेसिफिकली डिजाइन करने में हेल्प करेगा जो negotiation deal. तो कितने लोगों को पता है कि we need to allocate weight to the priority? Have you heard about this thing? Allocating weight to each priority. If yes, then give me a yes in the chat. If this is the first time you're hearing it, then give me a no in the chat. Or first time, give me first time in the chat. Guys, any input? Have you heard about this allocating weight to each priority before?
No, sir.
You haven't heard it, right? Okay, thanks for the input, Ankush. How about Ritik, you? Have you heard about it? Ritik, Himanshu? He said no. Okay, already. Perfect.
No, sir.
Okay, so this is the first. Yeah, this is not something which is okay. This is something which I'll tell you is part of complex negotiation. This is something which you will be using when you're actually dealing with complex deals, because it's not like you'll be using it with anyone, right? This is a little bit more complex, but I'm trying to give you a little bit more insight into negotiation, how you actually become more effective, more specific. Okay, मैं ये बताता हूँ आपको इसमें. ये negotiation का part नहीं है. Done by negotiating big stuff, maybe like negotiation. Okay, but this is important. Use it. You'll be feeling the value. Now, how will you allocate weight? Let's say you spoke with the customer. Okay, and customer told that there are 4 or 5 things, 3 things which I care about. I care about the delivery time. Let's say, इसको मैं समझाता हूँ from a slide. Let me just open the slide. ये केस स्टडी है शू फैक्ट्री का. ओके, शू फैक्ट्री का केस स्टडी है. उसमें क्या होता है ना कि there are 2 factory which makes shoes and sends shoes to different retailers, and they have got 3 different kind of pricing models. To buy shoes within 4,000 to 5,000 pairs, it will cost you around rate 500 rupees. ठीक है? नहीं, ये छोड़ दो, इसको नहीं. I'll just explain you. This is something else actually. So let's come here. Okay. So let's say you spoke with a customer. Let's talk about you, right? Let's say 3 things which you really care about is salary, your benefit, and your working hours. And holiday, you're okay with the standard holiday. So in your case, can anyone volunteer so that I can have a chat and we can do it better? Nitin, can you volunteer with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Nitin, you want to go for a job, right?
Yes, sir.
After your BBA. So Nitin, what are the 3 things which you really care about in a job?
The
Like
workplace environment,
salary हो गया, workplace environment हो गया. Okay.
benefits the
Okay.
company will give me,
Benefits.
job
Benefits
security.
होगी. Okay, job security. तो अभी 3 रखते हैं, ठीक है, सैलरी, वर्क प्लेस, बेनिफिट, ठीक है, टू मेक इट सिंपल, ठीक है नितिन?
Yes, sir.
सो इन स्केल ऑफ 1 to 10 सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है आपका, आपके लिए?
Job security.
जॉब सिक्योरिटी सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो
Yes, sir.
1 to 10 आप कितना 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 दोगे आप जॉब सिक्योरिटी को 1 to 10 में? आपको 10 में 3 चीज में डिवाइड करना है, ठीक है? तो मान लो आप जॉब सिक्योरिटी सबसे ज्यादा हाई रेट करते हो तो उसको 5 दे देते हैं, ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
फिर सैलरी, वर्क प्लेस और बेनिफिट, इसमें इसको कितना कितना दोगे? अभी 3, आपके 5 और बचे हुए हैं, कैसे कैसे इनको इनको वेट दोगे?
Sir, salary और क्या बोले?
वर्क प्लेस, आपने वर्क प्लेस कहा, सैलरी कहा, बेनिफिट कहा,
Okay. Sir, workplace.
कितना दोगे उसको वेट आप? 5 ही बचे हैं, अब 10 में से 5 ही बचे हैं, तो वर्क प्लेस को दो दे देते हैं, ठीक है, सैलरी को 2 दे
Okay.
देते हैं और बेनिफिट को 1 दे देते हैं, जस्ट टू मेक इट लाइक, वो आप बाद में करेंगे, जस्ट टू मेक इट मोर, यू नो, जस्ट टू मेक
Yes,
यू
sir.
अंडरस्टैंड, ठीक है? तो ये 10 हो गया। तो तो नितिन, तीसरा 50% वेट उसने जॉब सिक्योरिटी को दिया है, 10% वेट उसने अपना बेनिफिट्स को दिया है, 20% वेट उसने अपना वर्क प्लेस को दिया है, 20% वेट उसने सैलरी को दिया है। तो 20%, 100 में 20% इंपॉर्टेंट है सैलरी उसके लिए। तो आप जब एक डील बनाओगे अपने लिए, तो आप जब निगोशिएट करोगे तो आपको पता रहेगा कि अच्छा, जॉब सिक्योरिटी को लेके मुझे अच्छे से निगोशिएट करना है, सैलरी को लेके मुझे अच्छे से निगोशिएट करना है, वर्क स्पेस को लेके मुझे अच्छे से निगोशिएट करना है, क्योंकि 50% वेट दे रहे हो उसको आप, राइट? और बेनिफिट्स ठीक है, थोड़ा आगे पीछे होगा चलेगा, इट विल बी ओके इफ बेनिफिट्स आर लिटिल बिट अप एंड डाउन, बट I'm putting a high weight on job security, so I need to be very cognizant that the company whom I'm going for is a big company, a secure company, it should be like Tata, or it should be like Reliance, or it should be like, Infosys, the Tech Mahindra, or it should be any other company. So in that case, you'll look for a company which has high job security for the employee. On the other side, if someone says that they want to work for a startup, they need a high salary, but they're okay with the volatility, and they're okay with low job security. So for them, it will be like, okay, I put 50% of salary, 20% on workspace, 20% on benefit, 10% is fine with my job security. So when you start allocating weight, then what happens is you actually start knowing how much to put weight on while negotiating, right? तो ये जो जॉब सिक्योरिटी है थोड़ा सा इंटेंजिबल हो जाता है, so it becomes a little bit difficult, but salary tangible है, right? इतना अमाउंट आना है मेरे को, तो उस केस में you want to make sure that you're always negotiating harder for the salary or for workspace or for holiday. So that's how you put weight and then you start negotiating. Okay, guys, was this helpful? Or any questions on that?
No, sir.
आपको समझ में आया कि हम कर क्या रहे हैं?
Yes, sir.
ओके, परफेक्ट। तो एक्चुअली इसमें ये होता है ना कि आप जब वेट पुट कर देते हो किसी भी चीज के ऊपर, आपका जो कस्टमर है, ही इज पुटिंग मोर वेट ऑन द डिलीवरी टाइम, कि हमें जल्दी डिलीवरी चाहिए, ठीक है, इज पुटिंग मोर वेट ऑन दैट। तो अगर वो बोलेगा नहीं यार, अगर इसमें रेंज आ जाए ना, रेंज 50, इसको थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं करते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स करेंगे तो कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगा, अगर रहने सिंपल हो जाता है। दिस हाउ यू पुट वेट एंड देन यू निगोशिएट। आपको पता है कि सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट मेरे लिए ये है, तो आई विल मेक श्योर दैट मैं ये चीज पे ज्यादा निगोशिएट नहीं कर पाऊंगा, मैं दूसरे चीज पे निगोशिएट कर लूंगा। समझ रहे हो कि आपके लिए जॉब सिक्योरिटी इंपॉर्टेंट है ऋतिक, तो आप इस पे ज्यादा, सॉरी नितिन, आप पे निगोशिएट ज्यादा नहीं करोगे, लेकिन आप थोड़ा सैलरी पे कर लोगे, थोड़ा वर्क पे कर लोगे, थोड़ा आप बेनिफिट पे कर लोगे, क्योंकि आपके लिए थोड़ा सा निगोशिएट थोड़ा कम इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? आर वी
Yes, sir.
गुड ऑन दैट? ओके, तो समझ जो आपको निगोशिएट किस पे करना है, किस पे नहीं करना है, ये आपका इस चीज से क्लियर होगा, कितना वेट दोगे इन चीजों को। ऐसे नितिन के केस में जॉब सिक्योरिटी वो बिल्कुल भी निगोशिएट नहीं करते, क्योंकि उसके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। अगर आप मेरी बात करो, अगर क्योंकि आई एम ओके वर्किंग विद एनीवन, विद स्टार्टअप और व्हाटएवर, तो आई विल पुट हाई इंपॉर्टेंस सैलरी। तो मेरे लिए सैलरी और वर्क स्पेस बहुत क्रिटिकल है। फॉर एग्जांपल, तो मैं इन दो चीजों पे कम निगोशिएट करूंगा। आई एम ओके विद जॉब सिक्योरिटी एंड बेनिफिट, इनसे मैं ज्यादा निगोशिएट कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है यार, I can go with a company which is startup and it'll be okay. I can manage something else. I can go with a lower benefit company because that's not so important. But for me, these two things are more important. I will not budge on that. So that's how you create your package in presentation. Okay. हमारे पास Nivedita, how much we have? Like another 15-20 minutes, right? Nivedita, am I there? Okay, just give me this. Anyway. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The putting allocating weight. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, here we go. So ये हो गया handling objections. ये इसका छोड़ देते हैं. This is something which we cannot discuss right now. It's basically what we're trying to do here is that make a list of all the objections which your customer can give you, and then create a plan to handle it. So okay, when you're sitting for an interview, guys, what kind of objections your employer can give you? Anyone would like to volunteer? What kind of objections your employer will give you? That this is why I will not hire you. This is something which you're not looking for. X, Y, Z. So what, according to you, the objections your employer might have when you're trying to go for a job? Anyone want to volunteer?
Sir, it's personality, his attitude.
So I'm talking about the objections which your employer can create. That because of this and this reason, he may not hire you, or he may not hire someone, not you, in someone. So what can be the possible objections? The reason we try to find the objections or the bottlenecks because we'll try to work on that and solve it beforehand, before any negotiation or sales or interview. So this is something which you need to do. Like in that case, let's say your employer say, hey, you know what, you don't have much experience. How will you be able to work in my company? Okay. So in that case, if you don't have a very good answer ready to handle that piece, then your employer will lose trust. Similarly, when you're negotiating your sales with anyone, then your customer will ask you, hey, you know what, we're looking for we're looking for so and so kind of product, but you don't have it. Then what is your counter answer to that? How will you make sure that either they will get it or the product which you have? Let's say you're selling Airtel, right? And your customer whom you're meeting is telling that, hey, Geo has much faster internet. Geo can do this and this and this. So you have answered ready that, yeah, you know what, actually we also can do it. We are doing it this way, not that way, but we actually can solve the same problem for you. So it's about making a list of all the objections which the customer may have and then having it answered ready, or having a solution for it ready. Okay, that's how the objection handling is. This is something which you can this there in your deck, so just make sure you use it when the time comes, but for now we'll move it. Okay, now designing a tailored solution and providing relevant options and negotiate. This is the last 3/4 slides which we are talking about right now. Okay, now you have spoken with the customer, you have known their pain points, you have understood them deeply, you know all the stakeholders, you know how soon they want to get the deal, you know everything now. Now it's time to create a solution to give it to them. Okay, now how will you create a tailored solution? So in the slide above, we have found out 3 important priorities for the customer, which they care about, right? When we are trying to create a solution, we need to make sure that we are including all the 3 important findings of the customer, 3 important priorities of the customer. So here I talk about a case study of a shoe factory. Okay, so shoe factory business creates shoes. Guys, are you guys with me here? Are you guys understanding everything which we just spoke about? How many people are there in the room? I don't know, maybe 12, 13, 14. Okay. So now it's time to create solutions. So you tell me what things you'll keep in mind when you're creating a solution. Okay. So basically, when you're trying to create a solution, you'll keep in mind all the important priorities of a customer, what they are really looking for, So and embed that in your solution. Make sure that जो आप solution provide कर रहे हैं उनको, उस solution में वो सारी चीजें हैं जो वो ढूंढ रहे हैं. Whatever priorities they have in their head is there in the solution. ऐसा ना हो जाए कि आप सोल्यूशन जो प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो उसमें वो चीज ही नहीं है जो वो ढूंढ रहे हैं, ठीक है। तो ये एग्जांपल इज अ केस स्टडी ऑफ शू फैक्ट्री वेयर the shoe factory creates shoes and send it to different retailers across India. And this is their pricing model. This is pricing model. They give you a volume of 4,000 to 5,000 pairs at rate of 500 rupees per pair. With the delivery charge of 2 rupees per pair. So basically, shoe factory के जो customers हैं वो तीन चीज देखते हैं. They look for volume, they look for rate, and they look for delivery cost. ठीक है. तो ये तीन प्रायोरिटी के हिसाब से इन्होंने तीन तरह का प्राइसिंग मॉडल बनाया हुआ है. एक प्राइसिंग मॉडल जहाँ वो 4,000 से 5,000 रुपए के बीच 4,000 से 5,000 पेयर्स के लिए जो कोड रखे हैं वो 500 रुपीज पर पेयर रखें. एक प्राइस पॉइंट है जहाँ 5,000 से 6,000 पेयर्स के लिए उनका 475 का प्राइस पॉइंट है पर पेयर, और एक 6,000 प्लस के लिए 450 का प्राइस पॉइंट है पर पेयर. तो जैसे जैसे वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज हो रहा है, प्राइसेस ऑफ rate of per pair is going down. At the same time, delivery cost is also going down. And CB is the total value of the deal. आप इसे रेट कर पा रहे कि यहाँ तीन ऑप्शन रखा है इस शू फैक्ट्री ओनर ने, ऐसा क्यों रखा है, उन्होंने तीन ऑप्शन क्यों रखा है? Can anyone connect to this and give me an answer why you think there's a different pricing for different kind of packages? Why there are three options? आप जनरली देखोगे कि हर बिजनेस में वॉल्यूम के साथ प्राइसेस गिरते हैं, वॉल्यूम के साथ प्राइसेस कम होते हैं. ऐसा क्यों होता है? Why the reason is, first of all, they want to give you options like we discussed before. It's a nice way to give options. At the same time, जैसे जैसे वॉल्यूम बढ़ता है ना, उनका फिक्स कॉस्ट कम होता है. फिक्स कॉस्ट जो है वो वही रहता है. वॉल्यूम बढ़ता है तो उनका टोटल वैल्यू जो बढ़ जाता है, लेकिन वो फॉर बेनिफिट कस्टमर को दे देते हैं. लेकिन वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि कस्टमर को ऑप्शन, they need to give options to the customer. Hello, can you hear me guys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think I was cutting out. Okay, alright. So basically, the reason they create and give all the options in one go because the customer होता है ना, the customers want to negotiate, right? And a very smart negotiator will not negotiate one thing at a time. It's like they're not going to negotiate volume. Okay, fine, we'll give you 4,000 to 5,000 pairs. We'll only give you 2,000 pairs, right? But the shoe factory will tell, no, we cannot give you 2,000 pairs. We can only give you 4,000 to 5,000 pairs. That's how we operate. So you negotiate one thing at a time. To negotiate one thing at a time, then you have to go back and negotiate for rate. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. The customer has agreed to buy 4,000 pairs, but now you say, you know what? I can give you 4,000 pairs for 500 rupees per pair. And the customer says, no, I cannot do that for 500 rupees. I need to do it for 450. Now you again negotiate. And the delivery cost, you will negotiate. So if you put everything on the table in one go, then you'll set the right expectation. That boss, these are three different pricing, and choose for what you want. If you want to get a higher delivery cost, if you want to get a lower delivery cost, then to go for a higher volume. If you want to go a medium delivery cost of 1.5 rupees per pair, you need to go for 5,000, 6,000 rupees per pair. So depending on what they ask for, you have all the options ready. But if in case you start negotiating one thing at a time, it becomes very complex. It creates a lot of dissatisfaction. So make sure when you negotiate one go in one place and let your customer choose. And you're negotiating multiple things at the same time. It's a complex. This is something which will not go in detail. This is a piece which I generally teach when we have very longer sessions. But the idea is to negotiate multiple things at the same time, and so that there's satisfaction. Can you guys relate to it? Why I'm saying this? Why we need to negotiate multiple things at the same time? Anyone? This is the last slide, guys. So make sure you participate, and we'll just wrap this up because it's already time. Why you need to negotiate multiple things at the same time? Like, why don't you negotiate your salary, benefits, and your works and your holidays at the same time instead of negotiating one thing at a time?
सर बिकॉज उनको उनके पास एक वो होगा कि हाँ अगर मैं ये नहीं मिल रहा तो वो कम से कम ये तो मिल रहा है ना आई एम गेटिंग
Correct.
इफ
Correct. Sorry, go ahead, Hrithik.
तो फिर उनका एक क्लैरिटी होगी कि हाँ मैं ये नहीं मिलेगा तो वो ये तो मिल ही जाएगा सो दे आर मोर कन्विंसिंग दिस प्रोसेस इज मोर कन्विंसिंग कि हाँ हम उनको आसानी से कन्विंस कर सकते हैं अगर हम सैलरी पे ही डटे रहेंगे कि हाँ हम आपको सैलरी में हम आपके साथ नेगोशिएट कर रहे हैं बस और किसी चीज में नेगोशिएट कर ही नहीं तो सर वो तो उठ के चले जाएगा फिर एक वक्त के बाद
करेक्ट 100%. तो इसमें क्या होता है ना, एक हॉलिस्टिक, एक फुल, एक राउंड सर्कल नेगोशिएशन, हर एस्पेक्ट नेगोशिएशन का इन्वॉल्व होता है. इसीलिए हम स्टार्टिंग में कह रहे थे कि आपको 2-3 प्रायोरिटी ढूंढने हैं. अब 2-3 प्रायोरिटी ढूंढ लोगे तो आप हर के अराउंड नेगोशिएट करोगे इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट वन. तो आपने एकदम सही, आपने ये बढ़ाया तो ये कम कर दिया, तो ये सब कुछ एक साथ चलता है. इंस्टेड ऑफ लाइक सैलरी किया एक बार नेगोशिएट, फिर आप बोलोगे नहीं नहीं मुझे तो हॉलीडे भी नेगोशिएट करना, नहीं मुझे तो वर्क पे भी नेगोशिएट करना. तो ऐसे क्या होता है कि एक बहुत ज्यादा अनकंफर्टेबल और बहुत ज्यादा अनोइंग सिचुएशन बन जाता है, जो किसी को पसंद नहीं आता कि यार ये कितना मांग रहा है या कितना नेगोशिएट कर रहा है. एक साथ करोगे दे ऑल फील गुड. So I think you nailed the point, Ritik, that you should negotiate multiple things at the same time. Or multiple things तभी हो पाएगा जब when you know those multiple things which you want to negotiate, which you get clarity by finding and talking with yourself. With this, guys, we are actually ending this session. Nivedita, any further questions, guys, which you like to ask before we end this up, because it's already done. I think I'm right on time. So any other thing which you like to ask about or which you like to talk about? And yeah, a lot of you participated. I'm really thankful for that because it gets the class going. Make sure you ask me your question because ये अब session खत्म हो जाएगा. And if in case you want to get a more deeper, in-depth sales and negotiation training, and for which I'm designing a masterclass, connect with me one-on-one. We can have that too. But for all the people who are interested and those who want to connect, you will have my email address. You can write me an email. We'll do something for it. But if you don't have any questions, I thank you once again for everything, for the time, and to Nivedita, and maybe I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rahul. It was indeed very knowledgeable and insightful session. And I'm sure some of the shackles have been removed today, and there are a good number of takeaways as well. Since we are already running over the time, so I'm not taking too much of time, students. Can we request for just 1 or 2 verbal feedback here? Can any one of you give a verbal feedback, or how was the session? Anyone? Chirag, Ansh,
Yes, ma'am.
Ankush?
I'm Ankush.
Okay. How was the session?
Ma'am, it was very ma'am knowledgeful and ma'am I like the session very much because it is very helpful to me to for future to negotiate with someone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And guys,
Your
be
feedback
honest,
values a lot to us.
if you don't like anything, just let, because there's always a scope of improvement. And I should tell you one thing, that I'm doing this for a long time, and this is not a perfect session. To be honest, there must be a lot of things which you must have not liked. So good feedbacks are good. Everyone likes that, but I want to know what things you don't like in the session. What things you could have done differently? What things you could have done better? So if anyone wants to talk about, I will really appreciate any one feedback which you want to, which you think, even Dr. You can tell me that what is one thing which you want to get improved on, which I
That
can
I
improve.
will tell you. I will tell you. But
Okay,
Parul, any feedback? Parul Arora, any feedback from you? Sonali Kapoor, any feedback from your side, beta? Okay, fine. I'll ask Ritik Gupta. Yes, Ritik. How was the session?
a really good session where we got to know about the sales and negotiation, because right now the world is a marketplace where you can sell, so you can get any kind of job in any workplace or in any field of of your career. And mostly content is also for the sale. We write content for sale and other things too. So
Yes, yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So just to wrap up the things, one or two lines from my side. What was the takeaway? That what I felt here that today a few things which we learned is that what is how to use that open-ended and closed-ended question, how to understand ourselves and the customer before we really go for negotiation, and how to funnel out the customer and to filter out the customer, and how to really go for that real process. So these three things were very important as far as the takeaways are concerned. And if we talk about the relevance of the session, of course, I guess that today's session, it was something. It was not only for the students who are looking to go for a job, but for as well for those students who wish to join their family business or to have their own venture, wherein they should understand that how at all they can really pitch in to various investor or the capitalists. So this was the objective of today's session, and I am sure the students might have given the feedback also. We have shared the feedback link to you. Most of you must have filled up, and some of you, if have not done as of now, kindly fill that feedback form. Thank you so much, Rahul. As we discussed that we will be meeting on the some other platform very soon. We discussed for one group. I'm planning to discuss it with another group as well. Uh, so let's meet on that other day, somewhere on Monday or Tuesday. I will be planning another session with you with some other students. Till then, Rahul, thank you so much. Goodbye. And
Thank you.
students, thank you so much for being such a patient listener and participant for the webinar. Thank you so much. Uh, we will be soon meeting on some other platform with some other discussion. Till then, goodbye. Uh, I'm Dr. Nivedita. I'm just wrapping up here. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Stay happy. Be blessed. Love your mom and dad. Thank you so much.